What are the differences between all of the different accountancy qualifications? Woo! Welcome back to another video. Just want to say thank you to everyone supporting. Honestly, it's kind of overwhelming, but yeah, we're going to keep grinding. We're going to hit that 1,000 sub mark. So if you haven't already, go subscribe, like, share, comment, all that good stuff. And I also need to hit like 4,000 watch time hours to get monetized. So yeah, keep just watching videos and yeah, doing all that good stuff. But yeah, just want to say thank you to everyone that has so far. And yeah, man, let's keep on this grind, man. I'm gonna keep providing you with the help that hopefully you want, and keep telling me what you want to see from me. Just drop it down in the comments below. I'll be reading every single one and responding to every single one as well. So yeah, keep doing that. Right, let's get straight into this video. The reason for doing this video is because I often get a lot of questions from people who are either about to start accountancy qualifications or have done them and they're trying to get into investment banking. Now, I have a certain view on this, which I will divulge into the video, but I just want to basically go through the main accountancy qualifications in the UK and just talk about them generally and kind of where they can lead you to. So the first one I want to talk about is probably the most common one in most people's eyes, which is the ACA. Now, one thing to note about the ACA is the ACA is commonly regarded as the one that you do when you do audit at like a big four firm or even like a smaller firm. ACA is kind of the one that they will put you through. The ACA is generally like a practice. So if you're working for a practice rather than an industry. Now, what is the difference between practice and industry? Practice is, for instance, working for an accounting firm that will then have clients of their, and they'll do the accounts of the client. So it's all basically like you're not the client, like you're not doing, you don't have like another purpose. Like your core business is not auditing, for instance. Whereas practice, their core business is sort of providing a service such as audit, corporate finance, tax, whatever that is. That's a practice generally. Industry is where your core business is not like doing audit or work like finance, like in terms of like actual accounting and stuff. So for instance, an industry firm would be, I don't know, like McDonald's or is an industry firm, or it could be a Gymshark, or it could be, I don't know, any kind of brand you can think of. Apple, that's working in the industry. So if you worked in a finance department of one of these firms, like an Apple, a McDonald's, whatever I said before, Gymshark, that would be working in industry. So you're working in finance, doing accounting, but for a company in their back office. Now, working in practice, working at like a big four company like Deloitte, EY, KPMG or PwC, or even a smaller one like an RSM, Grant Thornton or BDO, all of them, that's called working in practice, because their core business is to provide this advisory service, or well, this service to a client. So like I said, in the UK, the ACA is the one that most practices will use. Now, in order to gain entry into the ACA, a lot of the time you just need to have a graduate level degree. Now, employers will choose on their requirements for this. So a lot of employers will look for a 2-1 in this degree discipline. It doesn't matter what degree discipline you have, and to be honest, it doesn't matter what uni you came from, as long as you basically got a 2-1, it's kind of calm. So that's something to take note of. If you are doing it like from a degree apprenticeship level, like you generally have to do AAT before, which is kind of like a foundation thing. So it's a few exams, but then you don't have to do some of the basically like certificate level ones in the ACA. Now, the ACA in general consists of 15 exams as at time of recording. However, as of September 2025, like people who start in September 25 going forward, they're going to be on a new syllabus, which I'm going to cover in a different video. I think it's 14 exams, but I'll cover it in a different video, completely like that, because I think there's a lot to go into there. So yeah, it's 15 exams and 14 of them can be sat within the first 2 years. So KPMG, I think, used to do, I don't know if they still do it, they used to do an accelerated course where in your first year you'd basically sit all the 14 exams, 14 of the 15, but you can only do case study in your third year. So you have to wait until then to do that. So yeah, that last exam is a case, and yeah, it's split into like 3 different levels, and typically it takes 3 years to do. That's obviously if you pass every single one first time, or well, that you can just get to the last one within 3 years. But yeah, what one pullback of this is it is very UK centric. So if you're planning to like work abroad and stuff in finance, I wouldn't say this is the best one to pursue. ACA is very, like I said, UK centric, and especially for investment banking, like if you want to get into high finance generally, I noticed that the people that I worked with in investment banking, if they had an accounting qualification, they had the ACA. None of them that I worked with had the ACCA or CIMA. So that's just worth to note. So if you want to sort of pursue that path, the ACA is probably the best one to do. I personally would say like in terms of like general industry focus, it's kind of like accounting, audit, and business. That's kind of like the general business, the focus of like careers that can come out of this. So like I've said, you can get into high finance, but I also know people who went straight into industry and worked in sort of back office there as well. So look, it gives you great options at the end of the day. As I said, the only pullback is that UK centric bit. So just please keep note of that. I just want to just before I end the ACA, I just want to say that EY have been doing the ICAS for the last few years. So ICAS is basically like a Scottish equivalent of the ACA. Generally very similar. I'll do a different video on this in terms of structure, but in terms of like the options you get out of it, it's very similar to ACA. So don't worry if like you been put onto ICAS and oh crap, I don't know like where this can sort of lead to. Very similar to the ACA. I basically put them hand in hand for sure. Now moving on to the second one, which is the ACCA. This is almost like a very all-roundy kind of qualification you can get. So a lot of firms, even I think some big four firms use it in specific roles. But if you're typically going into industry straight off the bat, like a grad role at like, I think someone did one at like I don't know, like say if you were to do a grad role at McDonald's, I'm just going to keep using McDonald's as an example, and you're working in their finance department, typically they'll probably put you through to the ACCA to do. It's a very, like I said, like sort of industry focused exam. And basically the entry level requirements for this one, like if you come at a degree, you come at sort of it's kind of similar to the ACA, to be honest with you. So there's a couple of entry points for the ACCA. If you come in with a degree, you'll go in at the strategic professional level, or if you don't have a degree, you'll go into the applied knowledge level, which I think you just need 2 A levels and 3 GCSEs minimum. So it's fairly easy to get onto it. And the AAT, like the ACA, can actually be used to bolster that as well. So you can get some exemptions from that sort of foundation level. So yeah, look, it's kind of similarly structured in that sense. There are 13 exams, so slightly less than the ACA. It typically takes 3 to 4 years to complete, whereas ACA is like 3 on average. It's usually just above 3, I'll be real. And yeah, like I said, it's very industry focused. Now, the one big difference for the ACCA compared to the ACA is it's globally renowned. Like this is, I think it's the most globally renowned accounting qualification. So if you are looking to maybe think, oh, I'd love to work abroad for a company doing accounting there or whatever it is, this is the one to pursue. I'll be completely real with you. ACA, obviously, it still might hold some value at specific firms, but ACCA is just like, you go ACCA anywhere in the world, they will know what you're on about. They'll be like, yeah, chartered accountant, boom. So I think that holds a lot of weight, especially if you're looking to leave the UK. The industry focus for the ACCA is generally accounting and finance, so less about the audity stuff, but it does cover that as well as part of it. So like I said, this is a very good all-round kind of thing, because it also covers a bit of management accounting as well. So yeah, a bit of strategy here and there. So look, if you want to just become like a finance Donny, this is the one I would say to pursue. If you're not bothered about going into like investment banking or high finance, this is the one that I would personally look for. But at the end of the day, it's what your employer chooses. You might have a say. I know some people have, like, I remember one of my friends, she got put onto an ACCA scheme, but she actually wanted to do the ACA, so she asked the employer to change it, and they were like, yeah, that's fine. But like I said, like, it depends where you actually want to get to by the end of it, and that's really going to help you and sort of determine your decision. Now, the last one I want to talk about is CIMA. So CIMA is a management sort of accounting qualification. There are actually no entry requirements to this. I think you typically just need like a grade C or grade 4 for English and maths and GCSE, and it's very industry focused. Now, like I've said, because it's more management, it's got a bit more strategy in this. So management, accounting, and business strategy. So if you're in like a, I don't know, like an FP&A kind of role, or it could be literally just like a corp dev kind of role within industry, they might put you towards this because it's got a bit of corporate financey stuff in it as well. And it's split into like 3 pillars. The exams are basically they're split into like 3 different pillars, and there's like almost like a foundation pillar as well. Now, in terms of exam structure, so basically at each pillar there's 3 exams, and then there's like a case study exam for each one. So all in all it's like 12 exams, but if you do the other level as well, so the 4th level, then you'd have to do 16 exams. So they're all, honestly, they're all very similar in terms of exam structure, in terms of how many you have to do. Typically this can take 2 to 4 years to complete in terms of getting chartered and getting qualified. And it's something that, you know what, I was actually talking to someone yesterday who had CIMA, and I think they're one of the first people I've come across that have CIMA. So I don't think it's that common, to be honest with you, but I've heard it's very beneficial for specific jobs. It is more globally renowned than ACA, so it's like more towards ACCA in terms of that global recognition, but not as high as the ACCA. So if you were looking to abroad, you could still probably do it with this, but it's less so than the ACCA. Like I said, I've not worked with anyone in investment banking who had CIMA. I'll be completely honest with you. Maybe in back office, but in front office, I didn't see anyone. So I don't know personally anyone that has gone into investment banking using CIMA, but it probably is possible. But the reason why I wanted to do this video just in general was to show you that what are the outcomes of each of the ones. So I'd say ACA, just to sum it up, is if you want to get into high finance. I'd say CIMA is if you want to do a strategy role within like industry, and ACCA is if you just want to work within finance within industry, and you're maybe looking to move abroad at one point in your life. That's how I would sort of put them all together. Now, I just want to quickly touch upon the CTA as well. Now, that's a tax qualification, and people always ask me, how do I move from doing CTA and tax into investment banking? Now, I don't know anyone that's directly done it, but one thing that will definitely help you do that is if you do the dual track ACA CTA. So one of my old friends, when we were together at RSM made them do that. So they did the ACA/CTA dual track. So it meant they actually got 2 qualifications out of that. But ACA will make you more employable because it gives you a wider breadth of options afterwards. Like CTA is quite niche because it's just tax. So if you are in a position where you're doing CTA, try and ask if you can do the dual track ACA thing as well, because I think that's going to make you so much more employable if you are looking to move afterwards. I'm going to bring that video to an end there. I know it's been fairly short, I think, but I want to do videos off the back of this where I'd basically delve into each one of these as well and show you the pros and cons and sort of really the exam structure and things like that. So let me know if that's something you want to see, and I will be providing that. Like I said, I want to also delve into the new ACA, which a lot of you will be doing. But yeah, let me know what you want to see from me, and keep subscribing, share, like, comment, all that good stuff below, because yeah, I just want to help you as much as I can. But yeah, like I said, from my point of view, if you want to get into investment banking, ACA. If you're not really bothered by it, but you want to do finance, ACCA or CIMA. But yeah, hopefully that's a bit helpful. Hopefully it's cleared it up. But if not, please let me know. My DMs are always open. And actually, no, just comment down below, bro. I'll be real. But yeah, peace.